For centuries, Muslims have debated this question. Is Sufism a genuine path to spiritual purification or an innovation in religion? One of Islam's greatest scholars, Imam Ghazali, tackled this question centuries ago. His answer avoided both extremes and may still be relevant today.
Now let's get started with al-Ghazali's understanding of Sufism. So Ghazali was brilliant professor of law and theology in Baghdad, means the Madrasa Nizamiya. But he suffered at some point, he was, well known in his, knowledge. So the seekers, the students from all over the Muslim countries, they used to travel to Baghdad to learn from Imam Ghazali. He was very famous, and he was very, famous and popular even in among the rulers. So rulers, at that time the kings, they also obliged him. They also favored him, because of his distinguished position. But at some point in time, Ghazali, he suffered a spiritual crisis. He think that this is what I am doing is just, it is a superiority kind of thing. It is just pride, a knowledge pride. Just I want to, to look down the other scholars. What I am doing, what I'm learning, in falsafa, in mantiq, and in all these, sciences, what I am doing, I'm trying to, prefer my opinion over the others. So it is just, a pride, and it is kind of arrogance that I am in. This is riyah. This is, superficial thing that I know. There is no spirit in it. There is no core, in it. So that spiritual crisis, Imam Ghazali, he suffered. At some point in time, in the very early age, he was a brilliant scholar in maybe in his 20s. When he was 24 or 25, he suffered this crisis. He felt that academic knowledge alone, it did not bring him close to Allah, which is the higher objective, closeness to Allah. So he said that these academic knowledge, this is halal, this is haram, and this and that, he said that this is not bringing him close to Allah. So Imam Ghazali understood Sufism as the path of inner purification, Tazkiyat al-Nafs. And the cultivation of love and knowledge of Allah. He finally he ends up to the Sufism, and he just abandoned his position in the Nizamiya University in his prime time. He just abandoned it. He resigned, and he went to a place where he just secluded and just learning the Sufism and thinking and remembrance, Dhikr and Muraqabah, and finally he ends up in a final opinion about that. And he said that this is the way that brings you close to Allah. And he learned from mystics. He has his teachers, preachers, and who taught him, and trained him as in Tasawwuf. And he also learned it, but at the same time, he pondered upon it, and he discovered a lot of things, on his own. Because he was a Shariah expert. He has his understanding in Kitab and Sunnah. So based on that understanding, he also got a lot, and he, his opinion was quite different from other Sufis. He was balanced. Like I said, he was Sharia expert too, so his opinion was not just like the other Sufis. That's why he highlighted those aspects, and he said that these are innovations and there is no way, to practice them. So he also criticized the Sufism itself. He did not accept it as it is, right? So his reform is in both sides. His reforms in Sufism and his reforms in the Orthodox Islamic tradition. He also brought some interpretations, and these interpretations, they were very solid and valid, that many scholars they also accepted them. They agreed to Imam Ghazali. Even today, they are relevant. So I told you the max we can say about the Sufi practices is that they are just permissible. They are not mustahab, they are not wajib. So if you don't want to do this, so nobody can compel you, and there is no obligation upon you to seek this path. They resemble it with the medicine. So inshallah we talk this later. So they think that the Sufism means the seeking a Sufi master, Sheikh and Murshid. They say that he is just as a teacher. He is as if a teacher we have in Kitab and Sunnah. So there is a teacher, he is teaching us fiqh, or teacher who is teaching us the hadith, or tafsir. Similarly, the Sufi master, he is a kind of a person who teaches how to purify ourselves. The purification must be based on Kitab and Sunnah. It must be based on Kitab and Sunnah. I mean, what is takabbur? What is ikhlas? What is sabr? What is tawakkul? All these things, they have roots in Kitab and Sunnah. But how this catharsis, how this purification come about? Here we have Ijtihad. This is the domain of Ijtihad. Here we can adopt different practices, which are just mubah, which are just permissible. There is no innovation about that. Innovation is a thing when we think something religious. What is bid'ah? Bid'ah is something we think of it as a religious thing, as sunnat, as wajib. So as long the Sufis, they don't consider their muraqabah or their zikr, specific particular form of zikr, they don't consider it sunnah or wajib, then it is just mubah thing. It is not bid'ah. Just like a person who is a patient, Yeah, so he seeks, cure, treatment. So he goes to this doctor, and if he doesn't get satisfied, he goes to, the another doctor, and sometimes he practice, many doctors at the same time. So what is this? Is this bid'ah? Definition of bid'ah does not apply here. Bid'ah is if I say that consulting this doctor, it is sunnah. So this is, here problem arises. So here innovation apply. But the Sufi practice, if it is not wajib, not sunnah, then it is just mubah thing, just like your treatment to a doctor. Yeah. Only difference is that you go to a, physician, doctor, you go to him for the curement of your body. Yeah. If you have problem in your eye, if you have problem in your teeth or in any organ, yeah, you go to him. But when there is a problem in about your, inner state, like takabbur, riya, and arrogance, and, anxiety. So here, these are also diseases, and you need cure for them. So you go to not doctor, you go to the Murshid, the Sufi. Yeah. So he is the therapist, actually. He is the psychiatrist also. Psychiatrist and therapist also. He gives you therapies, the spiritual therapies. So they say, according to Imam Ghazali, they say that Sufism is just like, medical, going to doctor. Okay. So here Imam Ghazali says, if somebody says that this going to a Murshid, it is sunnah, or it is, it is extremely important, then we say it is bid'ah. Yeah. If you are saying that it is wajib, so what is its mention in Kitab and Sunnah? What is its source in the Sahaba's life? So they went to any Sufi Murshid, or they perform such practices that you are claiming that these are the sunnah? No. So कोई भी काम होता है ना, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उसके अंदर मिक्सिंग होने शुरू हो जाती है. शुरू में हर चीज़ अपनी प्योर और प्रिस्टीन फॉर्म में होती है. फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता क्या होता है, उसके अंदर लोग अपनी तरफ से चीज़ें ऐड करना शुरू कर देते हैं, और फिर उसकी असल जो स्पिरिट और रूह होती है उसको भुला देते हैं. राइट. सो ये वो पॉइंट होता है जहाँ पे रिफॉर्मर्स आते हैं और वो रिफॉर्म करते हैं. तो इमाम गजाली ने सूफीज़म के अंदर जो एक्सेस हो चुकी थी, जो गुल्फ और इफरात उन्होंने कर लिया था, उसको उन्होंने थोड़ा सा नीचे लाया और उनको समझाया कि नहीं, ये सुन्नत वाजिब नहीं है, ये जस्ट आप लोगों ने खुद से एक चीज़ बना ली है. ठीक है. लेकिन आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव जो है वो एडमायरेबल है, अप्रिशिएटेड. आई अप्रिशिएट दैट. योर ऑब्जेक्टिव इज सिंसेरिटी, लव टू गॉड, एंड नॉट प्रेफरिंग द वर्ल्डली थिंग्स. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स, दे आर, इस्लामिक थिंग्स, दे आर रिलीजियस थिंग्स. योर ऑब्जेक्टिव इज noble, your objective is good, but your form, it is, it is your innovation. Innovation means it is new thing. These are their ijtihad. So उन्होंने बिल्कुल इज्तिहाद किया कि हम तकब्बुर का कैसे इलाज करें, हम अल्लाह ताला का जो जिक्र है उसको, उसकी ज़्यादा बेहतर से बेहतर फॉर्म क्या हो. उन्होंने डिफरेंट तरीके अपनाए उसके लिए कि जिक्र कैसे करना चाहिए जिससे वो बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव हो. Got it? So these were their ijtihad. Yeah. When you think this specific thing, sunnat or wajib or mansoos, different wordings, different, forms. Wordings, they are, mansoos, they are texted, but, their special forms, how to perform zikr. Some people say that there is so much to say, मतलब जिक्र करते वक्त जब अल्लाह का नाम आए तो आपका ध्यान कहाँ पे हो. You concentrate on this thing. So this concentrate on this thing, this is not mentioned in Kitab and Sunnah. So this is purely your invention, that you just think that you are, on first sky. Yeah, near you are traveling to God. Yeah, you are you embarked on a journey to the God. You are accessing Him. But by through this zikr, when you say La ilaha illallah, just remember this. When you say Allahu Akbar, just remember the greatness of Allah. When you see, just imagine a mountain. Yeah, just imagine the depth of the ocean. If there is something, against Sharia, then we cannot accept it. And if there is not something, we claiming that it is Sunnah or Sharia, then it is okay. If they are, dancing, and dancing, it is not, prohibited whatsoever altogether. There are some forms, simple form of dancing, they are good. Unless they seem funny and they become, just like the vulgar kind of thing. So we are not talking about that. So Sufis dancing, this is not like that. We say that if you think that this form of zikr or this, this is the one who is not doing it, he is sinful. If you say that, this form, this concentration, this specific kind of concentration that you adopted, if the other persons, they are not doing it, they are giving up the Islam, they are giving up the wajib. Yeah, they are not doing something obligatory. Yeah, so now here you are wrong. Now here you are wrong because you are making something which is just permissible obligatory. So this is bid'ah. किसी जायज़ चीज़ को अगर आप उसको वाजिब कह देंगे, ठीक है, तो ये भी बिदअत है. ऐसे ही जो चीज़ सिर्फ जायज़ है, आप किसी दूसरे को फोर्स नहीं कर सकते कि यू शुड डू इट इन द सेम मैनर. अगर वो उस सेम मैनर में उसको नहीं करता तो आप उसको ब्लेम नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि ये तो जस्ट एक जायज़ चीज़ है जो आप कर रहे हो. दूसरे के ऊपर आप इसको लाजिम नहीं कर सकते. अगर आप उसको लाजिम करेंगे तो वो बिदअत होगी. तो यही हमारी रिफॉर्म है और इमाम गजाली की अप्रोच है कि हमने इस इफरात को, इस एक्सेसिवनेस को, इसको कंट्रोल करना है. इसको जितना इसका मकाम है, जितना इसका स्टेटस है, उसी तक इसको होल्ड करें. इसको बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट ना बना लें. अगर आप किसी चीज़ को बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बनाएंगे तो वो दीन बन जाता है. ठीक है. और फिर दीन जो होता है वो तो सिर्फ किताब और सुन्नत में होता है. आपकी अपनी तरफ से बनाई हुई कोई चीज़ जो है वो दीन तो नहीं बन सकती. ओके. तो यहाँ एक बहुत, मतलब एक ब्रिज हमें देखना है, बैलेंस देखना है. उनकी हर चीज़ को हमने एक्सेप्ट भी नहीं करना और हर चीज़ को रिजेक्ट भी नहीं करना. गॉट इट? बिकॉज शरिया इज़, वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल in all these matters. So Sharia says that do tazkiyah. do purify yourself. But there is no one way for that. Is there any one way to purify yourself? Reading Quran, reciting Quran, only praying? Is that Prophet mentioned that you only for Tazkiyat al-Nafs you do this? No, there is nothing. So here there is a vast field, we have. So here we can, innovate. Here we can think, what is a better way to perform Dhikr.
Imam al-Ghazali taught neither blind acceptance nor total rejection, but balance. If you found this lesson beneficial, please like, subscribe, and share.